We all know glitches in video games are inevitable. Sometimes, a problem isn't really a problem until a player discovers it. And if you're lucky enough, some might even see glitches as an opportunity to play the game in a brand new way, which may or may not end up as a disaster. This specific glitch ended up as a very popular way for speedrunners to speedrun the game. Object clipping isn't new. You will find this a very common glitch amongst video games. In this video, we'll dive into ways I've discovered that may potentially fix this glitch. If you don't find it important to know how this glitch may be fixed, or why it even should be fixed in the first place, then leave a comment below as to why that is. Let's take a closer look at why this glitch happens in the first place. When two game objects, each with a collider, clashes against each other, the engine has to decide what would happen during this overlap. In a non-physics-based scenario, the game object can just do nothing and continue clipping until the developers specify what needs to happen. The object can teleport away from each other or continue moving. The colliders attached to the game object have no meaning in this case, besides being a component that exists. In a physics-based scenario, the engine will automatically push the two overlapping objects away from each other to prevent overlapping. In this case, we no longer need to specify what needs to happen, because the game engine already does that for us. We have told the engine that the cubes are a part of the physics simulation. If the object doesn't continuously detect with other colliders while it's moving at a high speed, it will end up inside the object it collides with. So when a collision happens, the engine tries its best to figure out where to push the object back. Object clipping happens when the engine fails to do so correctly. You see, what would happen normally when you compress an object in real life is that the object will be squished. And depending on the material of the object, they will react differently. In a video game, these so-called objects aren't capable of being squished unless you program them to do so. Objects that can be squished are often referred to as soft bodies. What ends up happening during this compression is that the colliders aren't being squished, but rather pushed away in a direction that has available space to allow the object to exist in. As we mentioned before, objects can't be compressed or squashed in the game unless it's programmed to do so. Therefore, what ends up happening is just a constant battle between pushing the object forward and bouncing it back from being trapped inside the wall. Since you as a player work the same as any other object, you'll also be constantly pushing against the object and bouncing back. If the wall isn't thick enough, you'll clip through the object and then to the other side of the wall. The most simple fix to this issue is, well, just don't let the player hold anything in front. But say you need this feature for your game, then another solution is to make the colliding wall thicker, so the object will always bounce back to the correct side. But that isn't always feasible when you have a house that has two rooms adjacent to each other. So the fix I propose is to measure the tension between where the object needs to go and where it is currently. Think of it like a fishing rod. The center of the screen is where the pole is located, and whenever you move, the object should be reeled in towards the center. The key part here is that the transformation of the object should not be instant, but a shift from its current position to the center of the screen. This allows us to calculate the tension from the current position to the center, like a fishing rod. If the tension is too great, we tell the engine to unhook the object and let it go. I've tested this method in multiple scenarios, and in my cases, seem to work the best out of all the other solutions. And well, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and as always, make sure to subscribe and smash that like button.